As a targeted individual, it is why I'm explaining a RICO complaint. It's a Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organization Act that you can use where it's being used against the victim of these crimes committed against me. They need to know what's going on to them. And if it applies to you as it has myself, these are the formulas which it can come to recognize these patterns as to the facts of how pressured you are when you are being orchestrated inside of this campaign against you, as to turn you, the target, into the victim and use the victimization that they're creating within your life as to turn you into the offender or the aggressor when it's not you. But these are aggressive tactics, smear campaigns, slander, stalking, harassing, and even bribing others to get within their circus to campaign against you, the target. It's real simple when it's a pattern to be seen, plus an enterprise, and that's the formula when it's literally a pattern that can be recognized, plus an agency or an enterprise of these people. That amounts to what we call RICO. Whether that is a criminal or civil, and sometimes can be both, cases that these people are protecting, to protect the criminals, to protect the criminal cops, and to protect the criminal judges and others who are surveilling you, so that you can never get your own name and image back and live your own life in the quality of life in which you should have the freedom to live. And so that's why they're trying to take my name and image personally, and they're trying to make me in my life completely irrelevant. So if you're a targeted individual, being that you have things going on that are not being recognized by the legal authorities, these are tactics in order to subjugate you as an unconstitutional, unlawful person, where you can bring up their unlawful sub rosa investigation. And if you can get pattern recognition plus an enterprise, meaning an agency of many people doing this to you, that is what equals a civil RICO. The statute that governs RICO is 18 USC 1962 subsection C. So collect that, do some homework, and do some research. I will explain in another video. But these are those who are supposed to work for us or be there for us can successfully tamper with our lives. And these Constitution, or within the Constitution, these numbers, the 18 USC 1962, can be used for us to successfully prove a civil RICO. You can ask for for the tribal damages, and these tribal damages enterprise, meaning an agency of people who are doing this to you, that equals a civil RICO, so that you are owed these tribal damages. So what are these tribal damages? It means that each instance where tribal damages have occurred equal to be able to be proven as a pattern of recognition, you are entitled to triple the cost of those damages wherever they occurred. So, say for an example, a car incident or car accident that was made illegally, you can ask for triple the amount of damages that they represent. Or where, say you're making $50,000 it would mean that you would be owed $150,000. You get 3 times the award for what's been lost. When they perpetrate to cause you to lose jobs and income, so you have to determine how much lost income there is caused to you to be lost. And when you've been targeted on all accounts of all jobs you've had, you have homework to do. So you can see that you are owed a lot of money when it can be for a long, long period of time, and multiple jobs that were prevented from you to be able to keep and establish your good nature and the quality of life and your workmanship that was being prevented as well. So you can as well get compensated for emotional damages through their agency in working this ugly fashion of literally stealing your identity and stealing your workmanship and literally stealing your ability to live your life free in America. So you might be out, say, a $60,000 per year job on top of emotional damages. You would be owed $180,000 back for that job loss, plus triple of the damages cost for establishing emotional damages. That's what treble damage, or yeah, that's what treble damages is. So just to explain what the courts recognize as treble damages and what they amount to. So I'm going to want to get these treble damages myself in other sections of other work that I'll be creating, and I will be going through all of that, considering that I'm going through all of my jobs, all of the areas of my life where these people prevented me and worked to sabotage my reality of who I am and the good nature of who I would otherwise be, not being a victim of poisoning. And so I'm going to work on getting the formula put together for people so that anything that you're experiencing out here that can be like a civil lawsuit involving a RICO, then you can ask for these treble damages and actually put together the dates, times, locations, and all of the information that you need in order to provide the courts. The reality of the matter is this: they didn't just stalk you, they didn't just harass you and enter your home unwittingly, possibly, but as being unwelcome guests in that case in your home. How much is it for the emotional damages of reoccurring gaslighting, emotional advancements, or relationship advancements to literally create relationships to continue and carry out a civil conspiracy? So some of those questions you're going to have to answer for yourself and figure out, but do the research and do the homework. So they were moving to punish me for speaking out and literally moving away from them in secret, because when I didn't move in secret, the damages would end up happening right away, and then I would be poisoned up again, and I wouldn't have the availability of being able to think for myself to have to move in a way different than I believe anyone else would have ever have had to move, you see. So I had to move in secret, and because I have had to move in that secret way, where I was not only catching on to the patterns from before with how, if I didn't move in secret, how badly I would have been misconstrued. Like, I literally wouldn't have bought in this house. A long time ago, I wouldn't have even been Jesse's friend. A long time ago, I would have ran away from home and become like Forrest Gump. Like, I didn't want to be there. I didn't deserve what these people were doing to me. And so they were moving to literally punish me in here and now and all throughout my life truthfully for speaking out, hacking my accounts, taking away the resource that I would need to build for an outreach and hope for outsourcing and also networking for me. So, as a witness to my own self, I'm contesting to these facts as facts because I went through it myself and I've been going through it myself. And so I'm seeking for that compensation for these involuntary acts that I never asked for. I never asked for any of it. And these people just performed the way that they performed in my life. As to move with their absolute impunity, at times even, recognizing recognizing that these people would want to hurt me, want to establish for ways of hurting me. Taking zero accountability from the state, or in the state of Minnesota, the police are not taking any accountability towards anything that I have going on. And then within the courts and the court's documents, they're literally leaving anything for me out before utilizing the places of being poisoned, pressured, hacked, and them knowing exactly the way that they left me. As if the me that otherwise would be just never existed and never had the right to exist. So now the courts are trying to pull a fast one on me. So there is the cause and effect and retaliation, along with the pattern recognition of their conduct. Generally speaking, the cause is them silencing me. It's their intent to shut me up and shut me out before I was able to ever speak out. And not just now, but I'm forced to speak out because I had no other option. If I had no other option to speak out or be taken out for moving just to try and speak out in and of itself. That's why they were trying to take me out, so that I wouldn't be able to speak out. And that was their intent. The effect is that there is a lot of damages that I've suffered due to there being a false people in my life, false relationships, and the future faking brothers, and then the zero father, truthfully, in order to move away and in order to move in a way that is to move completely away from my life in the first place, because I had definite questions of their contents of character with every reason to. There's also these effects and conflict. I just lost my place, sorry. There's also these effects and conflict of interest in their behalf in order to silence me before ever taking it up with them, to confront them on the facts that they were doing this to me, in which case was to not only leave me poisoned up and positioned perfectly for their crime, but to leave me in a hyperbole, in a state of mind that is as well not knowing, but not even ever allowed to know where these people were working to continue to work in that way. And then also my performance would go down at work, where I wouldn't be able to continue to perform the ways of my own natural self and without my knowledge, because you don't legitimately think your girlfriend is going to be poisoning you up, and you don't legitimately think that your friend is going to be doing this to you. And so you've had to pivot, as I've had. This is a predicate act against me. It creates a pattern of obstruction, and that means that these enterprises and agencies begin to obstruct you from jobs, justice, relationships, time, and even my personal energy to fight it. As to fight my life, fight my health, fight me in my mental clarity about seeing through the facts. So they move to discredit your employment status and your standing in good nature or your own organic nature, especially if it involves them poisoning you. They want to discredit your emotional standing and your mental standing to discredit you as to whether or not you were ever able. And that's why they want to basically paint you up as though you're unstable and you're just unwell when it's literally their actions against you. Because they want to paint you up as to suggest whether or not you're sane or not. In which case I believe is completely reprehensible due to the facts at hand. One of these things one of these things that people believe is that they want to place you in a constant fear, a constant pressure, a constant place where you don't have the availability of your mind to be able to move into the directions that you're having to be forced to move like. But they also just want to deplete you so that you choose for yourself not to move in the positive direction and literally go up against these facts. So for the example, I'll just utilize this. Like, your accounts are hacked. Okay, so you start a new account. Okay, well, your accounts are hacked again. Okay, it's a little harder, but I'm going to just continue to roll with the punches and I'm going to create another account. Well, your account gets hacked again. Okay, now I'm pissed and I'm creating like many things out here. GoFundMe, campaigns, petitions, submitting letters, emails, everywhere, everything, everywhere, you know? And then once again your account goes down. And that is the point where they're hoping you just give up. But you don't give up. You do not ever give up. You consistently have to get through this and keep pushing forward. Because where you're a targeted individual is that if they begin to pursue, if you, it, the reason is because they believe if you continue to pressure and pursue the process of calling them out and trying to establish the resources and help that you deserve, that it's not only going to get worse for yourself. So it's to suggest like you just stop or you just doubt yourself and you just say, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to try and go back to living a normal life without a phone, without internet, and just not do anything. You know what I'm saying? And that just makes you an easier target. That's exactly what they want. They don't want you to have any outlet of resources outside of their proximity of their proxy warfare, but they also don't want you to continue to press forward at all for yourself. They literally want to make it to where you doubt yourself that you can get out of the bubble that they're trying to keep you in. So that's what they did for me in my case. The poisoning moved to a chemical attack. Things did get worse. And these people were now stealing everything from me that they could in order to intimidate me and then even utilize my information that I'm coming out with online in order to imitate my accounts. Again, pressuring me in a psychological warfare mess, and then use my likeness, name, and image in order to psychologically cause me even that much more damages as well to prevent me from moving forward with it. I can tell you that you have to shine a light into the darkness here, because otherwise these bugs, these roaches, aren't going to scatter. You got to shine that light into the darkness. And you will find that they are all 100% cowards. They all have zero stance as to act rightfully in the violence that they're taking up against you. And they have no right to be targeting you, poisoning you, chemically attacking you, assaulting you, hacking you, hijacking your life, surveilling you. And if you don't shine that light in the darkness, you're just a sitting duck, because now they have you exactly where they need you, because they're literally, in my case, trying to take my life. And that's the goal with all targets, truthfully, is to get your life taken from you or get you to take your life. So don't take your life and step up to the battlefield. Because now you know that Now you know that they know that you're aware of the crimes. And even before, like when I had to move in silence and like pretend that I was still being poisoned up and all like, oh, I don't know what's going on and I just don't feel well and like really just trying to play it off. After a while, they caught on. They caught on to the fact that I knew and I could see them for exactly who they were. And they knew before I confronted them that I knew what they thought I didn't know for a little while, at least, before knowing. But then they were also acting very scared. It would be one call after another of these same perpetrators trying to get inside of my energy, literally to try and get inside of my head, to figure out like if their poison is working, what their next go-to plan of attack is, and who they could get inside of my energy that's going to allow for them to have a hot meal in front of a guy that's like starving, you know, for that attention, that love. So don't be a person that's just seeking love and validation, because if that's the case, you might be having people enter your reality as far as them creating another proxy, a future faking girlfriend, in order to poison you up, which was in my case half of the battle for the longest time, because it's like I legitimately wanted to get away from these people at points and perspectives where I had had recollection, I had had my ability to use my mind, but then when I was poisoned up, you just don't even remember that you wanted to get away from anybody. You just literally feel off. You feel like you're clinging to life for dear life at times. And it's like, well, you might feel like you've got to the point you just be by realizing that you're a targeted individual, that you understand everything. You see like two or three videos, you know, and you might understand what you feel like you need to understand and know what's going on. But the truth is, in my case anyway, where once I hit hit that truth and knew that I was a targeted individual, I was still years out from realizing what was actually happening to me in my reality. So you're hitting the tip of the iceberg at the top of these lies, or at the side of their pyramid of these lies, for example. And you have to topple their whole pyramid. You have to topple their whole thing down. You gotta get that whole entire syndicate to crumble. That whole entire enterprise. They do not get to steal away your agency away from you. Even if, up to and even if these sick people that have been running our lives into the ground are the same people as the police, the sheriffs, the judges, the lawyers, child protective services. It doesn't matter where these people stand and what they do for a living. It matters how they're willing to live inside their hearts. And they're obviously willing to try to supersede their oaths of office, not protecting the Constitution for which they swore an oath to have their jobs. They're acting in a way which is not only disingenuous, but it's treasonous. And so if you don't want these parasites to multiply, then you're going to have to get everyone on your side that you can confront in order to get into your corner. Because when you do this, you're going to start establishing 1, 2, 8, 12, people that are literally going to be complete strangers that are going to see what you're going through as true. And that's what you need. Even if they're not, how would you say it? Even if they're not like your best friend or whatever. You don't know these people. You need people in your corner, because the people that have been in your corner, or that you thought have been in your corner, are literally people, most times, well, as for me, they were building a proxy warfare. So every one of the ties that I thought I had were working against me. And so they're harvesting my energy, making me have to fight these facts where I should have never had to fight them in the first place, without regard for my human life at all. So they want to take you out before you can even try to reach outside of their box that they want to keep you in. So let's face it, it gets dark, it gets lonely, it gets pretty scary. And that's why there's a lot of these channels and pages and groups on Facebook and other places that people are literally speaking out about these things and actually gaining resources for themselves to learn. Because it gets really ugly out here and it gets really hard to face. It's a lot of tears that you don't even get to see hitting the ground floor because you're in this pitch black, dark way. And literally, that's how I look at it when I'm being poisoned. You don't remember the fucking tears you cry. You don't remember what you're going through. How are you going to be able to, like, literally stand up to something that your brain can't even reason through to be able to explain or articulate? You just don't have it within you. So you literally have tears filling up inside of a black box. And once you're standing in that lake, you realize that, holy shit, this lake started from a little pond, a little puddle, you know? And then before you realize all of the characters and players and names and faces and actors and everything that's out here, as these crisis actors that are working against you, well, suddenly you're in a frickin' ocean with anchors tied to your feet of your own tears, you know, for like just trying to get people to recognize the monstrosity of the lawsuit of this uh, RICO civil complaint, a RICO civil complaint of the civil conspiracy that is at play. And if it happens once, that's where it's just a lawsuit. But if it's happening more than once, that's where it's a civil RICO. And when it's been your entire life, I'm sorry to say, but that's a straight up war to save your every last breath. Because these people are literally trying to take the very few breaths that you might be able to make outside of the abuse as a planned attack against you, that you don't even get to live one of your own breaths to your own truest nature of who you are. And that's just the as messed up part about the crime. That's just the most messed up part about the crime. So most people have these things that they start targeting them at 22 or, 36 or something, and it takes an awful long time to figure it out or fight it or even fight it all at all, and oftentimes they end up dead. This shit's been happening to me all my life. As far as the crimes against me, and as far as them targeting me, and as far as them poisoning me, as far as them positioning me to make me look like a fucking jackass to anybody that they could, in order to continue their crimes against me. So you're going to have to see through their abusive structure that they've formed within your life. Over time, you're going to be able to see the pattern, and you're going to be able to recognize the pattern, and your pattern recognition has to be on point now because you're within a forced survival mode where you're not going to get to leave that fight mode. Even when you go to sleep, they're going to be attacking you from all sides. They're trying to stop you from working, stop you from reaching out for help, hacking you, aiming to literally discredit you, stop you in wherever you are, no matter what you're doing, as if you have to pivot here, pivot there, and pivot everywhere. And then they are going to be taking the charges that they're creating as an assault against you to traffic your person as well and steal your energy. They're going to create the crime as if it's you, obviously, because police coming into your house without a warrant don't want to be found out about. Police protecting the racketeering of a criminal syndicate that's working in order to traffic people and to save the faces of these poisoners, and the rape of my father, raping his own daughter and sexually abusing me, and even sexually abusing these brothers of mine if they're just out of the availability for themselves to not be numbskulls and to do the right thing, but they didn't. And that's what my legitimate questions were when I was younger. Is what do you want to be? How do you want to be? And I have the right to know how you're going to choose to be. Because I don't like the way you're being with me. And you're literally acting as if I don't have the right to choose to go and run the other way. And so they just didn't like my light. They wanted to squash my light with all of their darkness. But no matter how much that happened, I could still feel it when something was off. I still told them when I was coming to, like, I'm going to remember this. I'm going to remember this. I'm going to do everything in my power to remember this because you guys are doing something completely fucked up with me. Making me lift a piano and you can't even lift up one box each of these Chiquita banana boxes full of the court documents so that I could figure out what was happening to me. They're like, oh, well, we're trying to move away from that stuff. Yeah, of course you are. Of course you are, G. I can see now exactly why you were trying to move away from that stuff. So it was my right to figure out what was happening to me, how often these people were poisoning me, how they were planning on moving with my life, and they were just offering me no placement so I could establish any kind of freedom, and my identity was being lost, as if to wipe me clean off the map here in the end, as if to suggest to the world I never existed. They owned my identity, and because they owned my identity, and they performed this racketeering, this RICO organization, the organization for this RICO civil complaint, well, that's their organization. They're acting in their way, which is a disingenuous. So I'm literally taking the act that was created for these civil complaints to basically be able to say, no, you guys are acting in a complete disingenuous way. And not only that, but these systems that are supposed to protect me in these places with this heavy of a crime going on, they're literally just trying to protect their criminal buddies themselves. So I don't care. I don't care if it's 30 cops and, you know, I don't care who it is. I don't care how many of them there are. These people need to go down for their crimes against me because they're having me living in conditions that I wouldn't have been able to fight. One, being poisoned up, but two, that I shouldn't have had to fight. Let alone with all of the extra things that they're trying to do as well to prevent me from now even establishing a case at all against them, or even take up my own agency, my own workmanship, to even make it to their criminal courts. They're literally trying to create it to where they can circle back in my life, steal everything away from me again. But it's like, fuck you. I deserve to go fucking forward with my life. Already, I'm 44 years old. You don't get to just wipe away my entire existence. Outside of my own head and my own natural abilities in life to be able to fucking move forward in my life. So they're literally just, it's them and their agencies, their enterprise, or however you want to look at it, in order to silence you, erase you, as if you've never existed at all. So this is where you're going to have to file a lawsuit against them. And this is exactly why they're staging up my life currently right now, so that I don't have the funds and the resources and the outreach or the outsourcing capability, because they're stopping everything that I'm putting out there to report. They're stopping all of it to even be in the reports themselves, so that they can stop my information in the travels that it would need to travel in order to get to the right eyes and say, oh my holy shit, let's take this guy's case, dude. Fuck, this guy's owed $999 trillion times fucking 77. I'm sure we'll make a chunk of the pie. Whatever, dude. Whatever it is. But these people are literally trying to make it to where you can't even file the civil complaints against them and get to the right people that would take these civil complaints, sorry, that you're taking them too seriously. Because there's no reason to think that these cops can go into your house without a warrant while you're not home and or just coming home, and then when you literally find out that way, it begs the very serious question: how long was this going on before I found out? And it begs a lot of serious questions. Okay, it begs a lot of serious questions. So they're going to have to try and move to silence you, which is exactly what they're trying to do in my case. They don't want any of my reportings, any of my proof, any of the things that I've been showing them, literally admittance to the poisoning, crying out loud, is that's not even in the paperwork. So they're literally saying, here, dispute this, but they're not even allowing me to show the attorneys or show the judge the things that I'm actually disputing and have been. You see what I'm saying? It's literally it's literally the agencies or this enterprise that's stopping for my own agency to be taken to be able to be seen in front of the eyes that it needs to be seen in front of, with intent that it's transmuting what I'm trying to transmute. Basically, it's like they fought me with fire, so I'm like, okay, well, let me throw this ball back at them. Then they're literally like, I'm like, okay, well, they're trying to literally transmit their energy against me to like silence me. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can transmute that energy to make sure that I'm not silenced and that I do get heard out here. Doesn't matter if I end up fucking dead. After this long of fucking crime against me, you see what I'm saying? Like, after this long of fucking crime against me, you want me to like care about a fucking what should I care about? I mean, obviously I care about trying to get out of this crime against me, but it's just like it's to the point where it's just like, whatever. If they want their cake and eat it too and establish this world, and that's exactly what the Bible is referring to, and Jesus said, like, seek not the things and the material things of this world, and seek me and my kingdom. I just thought that it was also as well that anything you ask of me, it shall be added unto you. So I'm asking for justice. I'm asking for, you know, influence in my life so that I can help other people out here that are going through this shit. Literally, like a nice car, a nice website that looks like a freaking Bentley or looks like a Maserati or a Bugatti. I want a nice website with the balls that have with the mission and the movement that I've been writing on for 17 years. They're just trying to stop me at all fronts because, dude, even Facebook would know that my idea is like 100-fold better. It would literally be like enriching people's lives, not stealing the agency away from people. Oh, what's on your mind? People are fucking idiots. Sorry, but people are fucking idiots. They're giving their agency away to places that just they don't if they understood the monstrosity of what they're doing and moving like these days, they would really realize how dumb shit every fucking thing is out here. All for their fucking criminal nature to get away with everything, literally knowing everything about a person's life so that they can abuse you with these pixels on your screen, on your screens. So they're trying to prevent you from having an equitable life outside of the abuse that they're causing you. I am fighting some of the things that have been placed inside of my own home right now while I'm even explaining these things to you and writing this stuff out all of the time. And it's costing me like well over what should otherwise be in just regular costs of my house and living expenses. But as well as it's like stopping me from even trying to obtain my own life back and get to maintain my health and maintain my house and maintain a relationship outside of their proxy warfare or do anything that I would otherwise deserve to live an equitable life and have equitable relationships and a quality of life. Forced, all by forced. Ever since I was a young kid, it's been all by forced. So it's left me in survival mode where I shouldn't have had to live in survival mode. And just in that sentiment alone, I shouldn't be being left in fight mode throughout my whole life. I should be able to feign or fun or freeze, for crying out loud. Just, I should be able to think about these things that these people are doing to me and tell these motherfuckers to step the fuck off. Go kick rocks. They should be poisoned up and flopped to the ground and staring at the gravel with their tongue fucking hanging out. That's what they should do. They should be in the positions that I've been placed in. See how well they survive. And I don't even care about eye for an eye type of thing. Sure, that makes us all blind, but they should not be literally not held accountable for their crimes. And I don't care if they're cops. I don't care if they're judges. I don't care if they're lawyers. I don't care if they're child protective services. I don't care if you're my fucking fucked up father. I don't care if you're my brothers. I don't care if you're my supposed friend. I cared about you guys. I even cared about these cops. I wanted to be one. I cared about these people that just didn't have the common decency within it of themselves to care about me. So I'm not going to be sitting there like literally unable to sleep longer than 45 minutes, 3 hours, sitting here fighting for my life, as if I didn't fucking have any other choice in the matter, which I didn't. I didn't. Homeless, fighting my ass off, like literally at the time, like working for this guy and walking back to his camper. It's just like fucking just feeling like blind as all hell. Getting back to the camper, just literally crying my eyes out. My fucking heart feeling like it's shattered in a million pieces, and I'm like trying to figure it out. Like, I work that much, and I'm like on my phone, like looking up this gang stalking stuff. Like, hopefully I can figure out what's happening to me one day. No one should have to live like I've had to live. Not a fucking single person. And if there can be anything that I would want to create, is exactly why I'm trying to create Heartworks Charity. It's exactly why I'm trying to create my charity, because fuck these motherfuckers out here, G. Fuck their drugs. Fuck everything that has to deal with the cartel. Fuck all these people trying to take you away from having a quality of life, or even a quality, nice shirt for these videos. I was just like literally looking at that, like thinking, I don't even have anything of me, of my own me. They like hand me down, fucking this, that, whatever. And I'm like, many years ago, thinking that I wanted to literally be able to go out, buy a suit of my own, and you know, it doesn't have to even be like a super expensive suit. Like I just wanted to be able to dress nice and be a businessman and like do things in business for people's lives. And there were these people literally gaslit me in my life, consider making it considerable to everybody else that I can't be anything. Fuck that. Fuck that. These people are literally drawing me into the misery that they're leaving me into, and then literally and utterly, it's just miserable. So I don't care about these parasites. These people are just cowards. They're roaches. They need to be taken care of like bed bugs. Just you know, fight the elements. That's what I'm saying. Fight them, because you're in imminent danger once again in your life, and all of this time that's been happening to me, and the medical community won't do anything for me. The police won't do anything for me. The system's trying to make me out to be the criminal. No, these people are in treason. These people are treason, and they're disingenuous as fuck, just the way I've been saying it out here. They're doing anything in their power to kill me off so that I don't have any agency of my own. And they're like literally staffing people up to work this way. So this is partly the reason why they're out here as well, leaving me out of all of the situations that I've been in for work, jobs, relationships, you name it. It's like I'm the common denominator out, where I've been literally forced out of these jobs and out of these relationships due to the poisoning that these people are never allowing me to be able to stick to my own grind for my own self without knowing it. So when they were never around and they were just literally trying to prevent me from an organic life and a natural life in a way to keep me sick and stage me for identity theft and then murder as a way to erase me and make me irrelevant to life as one could possibly be, so that people could never see what was going on in my life, and then allow these motherfuckers to just skate past as if there's never anything to be seen when there was. They were performing and they were interested in performing these crimes to keep their hands looking clean as they could, but they were literally being caught red-handed and they know it. So I'm now trying to give people the formula out here to see through and get out of the oppressive designs that are all based on literally taking your job descriptions, taking your availability to the life you're trying to establish and making it as fraudulently as they know that they could possibly make it, all to keep your regular life tightly locked into this crime in a way to silence you and even get your own mind unable to see or reason through their crimes that they're hauling up high against you. Isn't it true that you deserve to speak out? Isn't it true that you have rights? Isn't it true that you have things to stand up on as far as your own rights go? Not standing down for their definitely waterboarding effects of like open air prison system type of bullshit. It's a formula that I'm building to attack against their laws because I believe personally that with what I've been experiencing, many others are, that it's literally the worst crime of its magnitude all throughout history. We are owed restitution money. We are owed that treble money, triple damages and then some to the damages that have occurred financially. It's triple damages, and I don't know, but they would have to pay for all of my they want me to go get mental health help. Fine, I'll go get mental health help. I'll go talk to a stupid therapist and a stupid psychiatrist. I'm not going to take any of their garbage fucking pills unless I actually read that they're all natural and can see the natural ingredients, in which case I'll grow the herbs that I need. I would rather than have them be just whatever, having toxic metals and toxic poisonings and pesticides and insecticides and whatever else inside of the shit that they're giving you just to keep you on a regiment. I don't want their fillers. I don't want their garbage. I don't even use sugar. Very, very, very rarely will I ever have sugar in my diet because sugar is like a poison. It's like more addictive than cocaine. It's a fucking poison. If you ask me, it's a poison. So anyway, people have to stop performing in a way that they don't if people have to stop performing in a way that's to allow them the agency that they should be able to be placing back in their lives without the proof of reports being taken and any of the screenshots and any of the evidence being taken into the crimes that I'm speaking about, to literally deal with the crimes, because literally the people that you're reporting to are, in other words, just in the same corrupt hands and the same corrupt enterprise against these targets. Well, then it's all of the targets against the whole freaking world, the whole system that's running this freaking shit campaign against these people that are performing with civil conspiracy to establish for us to have a complaint, a civil RICO complaint against the people. And so it's me, the targeted individual, and us, the targeted individuals, against the system that is trying to establish for power of control. It's literally the people have been being duped in their minds, duped out of an educational system that's allowing them to have a civics class at all, so that you don't know how to protect yourself against them when they're doing this to you. And you should really be able to protect yourself against these criminal courts, when you shouldn't be allowing the hacking out here that is to just continue. It's the same thing that John McAfee was saying. I don't have a problem with you obtaining the like everything inside of a database somewhere. The thing that he has the problem with is that the government wants to usurp that, where it can actually be in good hands. See what I'm saying? But they want to usurp that to where they're going to be now placing the availability of using everything everyone does, all of your emails, all of your phone calls, all of everything, in order to scan your everything. You scan your reality and see what they can do to prevent you from having a normal living life. And not only that, but once it goes from that source into other hands, well, now it can be leaked. Now it can be sold. Now it's people that can literally, even if it's not sold to them, can just sit there like a hack, sitting on their computer, figuring out a way to hack that person's life, gaining the knowledge of what they need to think what they're going to do with this person's life, which is exactly what's happened to me. So did technology make things great? As if, these commercials with everyone dancing around with their kids and children, swinging their sons and daughters around in the air at a beach, taking pictures and smiles everywhere? Or did they just commercial it for the commercialized gain of stealing your money with that reason to allow these people to have these third party institutions able to take your information, leak them, get them hackable, have literally the people that are supposed to be working on your side to protect you, and the people that you're supposed to be able to consider your friends and your family, some of which working against you. This is legitimately what the situation is here, and this is what I am establishing within my civil RICO complaint against these parties and against these people that are performing in disingenuous ways, and they know it. And it's also treason, which, to the words of the Constitution, suggests that I have the right to frickin' cap these people in their fucking heads. That's legitimately the words. It's not like making a threat here. It's not like I'm saying anything that people don't know themselves, and it's not like I'm saying anything that these people that are working in this disingenuous shit campaign against targeted individuals don't know for themselves. I'm not going to prove to them something that they already know for themselves. Like, oh, yell at them all you want to try and prove to them what they're doing is wrong. They don't care. That's what acting in a disingenuous way is. So these people are just acting in accordance with evil. I'll just call it that. It's evil. Call it Freemasonry, occulting, cuckolding, the satanic synagogues of Satan. Call it whatever you want. They call it the Illuminati. It doesn't matter what you call it. It's these people are acting in a disingenuous way that should literally allow you to fucking lay down the law, because you have the authority. It's we the people, for the people, by the people. You own the law. They want to supersede that power, and by doing so, you can literally get it to the Supreme Court. And if you don't get it to the Supreme Court, and if it doesn't go to the Supreme Court, they're literally in treason. It doesn't matter where they get you. They know what they're doing is wrong. That's why whistleblowers oftentimes end up waterboarded and fucking murdered. But I'm tired of it, and I don't know who else is. Like, why would anyone think for themselves that they're not tired of it? Like, these people are like genuine people trying to like establish a life and a living force of their own. Well, these people are legitimately trying to shut them down because they know what the fuck they're doing is wrong, and they're criminals. They're criminals. So I don't know. Just, if people want to live like that and allow these people to live like that, fine. But literally, there's other areas in the world that are doing better than America is right now today. And I don't know why, because people literally should be dragging these people by their nuts off to Gitmo, like, here we go. Fucking one horse sleigh or fucking 12, doesn't matter. Like, these people need to be hauled off to prison for what they're fucking doing, and they know it. That's why they're trying to kill people. That's why they're trying to work in this way. So, I have like 3 other things to do and work on. So I'm going to work on those things, and I'll be uploading throughout the day. Thank you for being here. God bless, and I hope that you're taking care of yourselves, and especially the knowledge that you need to fight the corruption that's out here. Peace out.